Welcome back to Omni Garage. So today I'm pretty excited. We're trying out a new system here from Labocosmetica for the first time. So got it sitting on the car here behind me. This is the 3pH system. This is something that we've been reading on for a little while. Been really excited to get our hands on this and put it to the test. And what better time to put it to the test than when we need to do a full decontamination of the car behind us here before we start to get into a paint correction. So this is a bit of a unique system. The way that we would typically do a wash at the moment when it comes to the decontamination stage is we use something like a CarPro D-Scale. So that's an acidic shampoo, low in pH, and typically we use that before we get into our next stage, which would be the mechanical decontamination, you know, IronX, TarX, clay bar, clay towel, etc. The way that this system works with Labocosmetica is you've got 3 different soaps that you would use in order to perform your decontamination. So we're going to start here using our, try pronounce this, PRIMUS 2.0. So this is our alkaline. So this is our high pH soap that we're going to use to pre-treat the surface of the car. Then what we do is we hop into the next bottle, which is our Decontamination Shampoo. And this is acidic, so very similar to the CarPro D-Scale that we use. This has a pH of lower than 7. So keep in mind, pH of 7 is neutral. Anything above 7 would be deemed high pH, which would be the PRIMUS, so the first step, the pre-wash. When we get below pH of 7, we're talking acidic. So that's where this shampoo here comes into. And then the third step is our SEMPER. So this is the highly concentrated shampoo, pH neutral. We will use this to perform our contact bucket wash at the end of the process. So first step in our process is the pre-wash, the pre-foam. So this is PRIMUS, so this is our alkaline pre-wash, and we're going to apply this to the car pre-rinse. So we're not going to get the car wet before we apply this. Now I'm going to get my cheat sheet out here. So Labocosmetica have said that given this is high in pH, what this is going to do is it's going to remove all residues of organic origin. So like your road dirt, your oils, your grime. And this is highly dilutable as well. So we have diluted this. We've got a foam cannon all set up, ready to go. This is diluted. So it can be between 1 to 30 in winter when there's more dirt, or 1 to 50 in summer, but it can also be diluted 1 to 5 to 1 to 10 in a pre-treatment in areas where more dirt accumulates. So if we're thinking kind of the lower rocker panels, the back of the car, so highly versatile, we can use it in a whole range of different dilution factors. I have this diluted in the foam cannon. I've picked somewhere in the middle. So I've gone 1 to, what did I do? I did 1 to 30. In the foam cannon. What I want to show you before we actually go and spray this on the car, I just want to show you how the car is performing in terms of water behavior, water characteristics. So let me hook up the pressure washer here. Now I want to be careful, I don't want to wet the whole car right now, but let's pick the back door here as kind of our test area. And the whole idea here is to just show you guys, because we do have some protection on here already. We've got a spray sealant. I can't remember which one we have on the car, but I'll show you what the water behavior is like on the back door. And then after we get through each stage of the pH system, we can come back to this door and kind of show you how the water behavior is changing as we go. So you're able to see on that door there right now, we have some pretty good protection, great water behavior, and ideally at the end of the process, the water behavior will not be performing like that. Okay, so I've got PRIMUS loaded up in the foam cannon here, and essentially we're just going to spray this whole car down, pre-treat it. What I find crazy is the dilution level of this is so low, but the foam that we're getting, that's pretty incredible. I was not expecting that. We want to work our way from the bottom of the car up here. super impressive at how concentrated we were in that solution, just how thick the foam is. Now, we're washing in direct sunlight here today, but we are hooked up to deionized water, so I'm not too concerned about being in that direct sunlight. But we're just letting this dwell on the surface for a little while here, allowing it to pull any of that organic dirt, grime, road film off the surface of the car. And this should be doing a pretty good job at starting to strip away some of the protection that we've got on there as well. We're not going to leave this for too long, but we will let it dwell a little bit longer, come along and rinse off. And what I can see as I'm starting to rinse it off, it's leaving quite a bit of almost soap scum, soap scale back on the surface. So you probably want to just make sure you're doing a really thorough job in removing this. Make sure you get all of that scum off, even though you are going to be hitting this in a moment with another pre-treatment. PRIMUS is fully rinsed off now. We'll do another check on this back door here. So you can see our water behaviour is still reasonable on there, but it definitely has taken a bit of an impact, taken a bit of a hit from the high pH content in the first pre-treat we've done here. Okay, so now we move on to step 2 in the process, which is our decontamination shampoo. So this is acidic. So remembering this one here, it's acidic, so that means it's low in pH. Theoretically, it should be under 7. And this is pretty comparable to a lot of the decontamination soaps we have been using on a regular basis, CarPro D-Scale being one of those. So what this is going to do is it is going to attack the inorganic matter on the car. So when we think about this, we're probably mainly thinking water spots, acid rain. So if you have any marks on your vehicle, hard water spots, this should start to attack those. It's not going to remove them completely. Remember, water spot removal is a pretty finicky process to go through. So this soap here can be diluted about 1 to 60 as a foam. So that's how we've got it set up in our foam can. And again, back on the Labocosmetica website here, the best process to do this is, again, it's from bottom to top on the surface here. So this is going to remove the exposed minerals, so salt, water residue. And they actually claim here that PURIFICA will remove limestone residues and rejuvenate wax or sealant coatings, but dissolve any kind of calcium, mineral deposits, and residues of contamination from acid rain. So if we kind of think about where we're at in the process, typically we wouldn't have done that pre-treat with a high pH soap. We would have either picked a high pH or a low pH. So we've got this all set up in our foam cannon. The smell of these soaps, there's something about them. They're not fresh, pleasant, fruity like a lot of the other soaps on the market. There's something about the smell of this whole system that really does make me think decontamination. Like, it's not a soap that you'd really want to use on a regular basis. The smell, yeah, that scent just doesn't jump out at me as something I want to use for a maintenance wash. So let's fill up our foam cannon and get started on the pre-treat. Now this foam as well, I mean, although we diluted this stronger than what we did with the first pre-foam, I mean, pretty happy with the results of the foam here. Definitely leaves a pretty lingering smell in the air. Not particularly pleasant, but wouldn't say it's unpleasant. And a lot of this foam is sitting, so not a whole lot of running here. What it should be doing is starting to break down any of the deposits left on the car. Again, you don't want to leave this for too long, in particular when you are doing this in direct sunlight. Our DI water gives us a bit of leeway there. Probably leave this for another minute or so to kind of work its way on the surface, and then I'm really excited to have a look at what the water characteristics of behaviour on that back door is. We didn't really have a whole lot of water spotting on this vehicle, maybe a little bit on the windows, but all in all, the vehicle was in pretty good condition prior, just scratched, well in need of a paint correction. So the water behaviour now on this back door. We still have some reasonable hydrophobics, but we've lost a lot more again in that second hit. So we do have a lot more sitting water on the surface. So the next step now is to jump into the contact wash with SEMPER. So the final step in the process now is to use the third part of the pH system. So this is SEMPER. So this is our highly concentrated pH neutral soap that we're going to use to just do our traditional contact wash. So in the decontamination stage of the vehicle, if you want to come in and hit it with that mechanical decontamination, so using a clay bar, a clay towel, a clay mitt, whatever your preference is, you could use that as part of this process now, where we're doing our traditional wash using our mitt, introducing that mechanical decontamination as well. And there's something about the smell of this soap. I really like this one. This is my favorite of the three. The first two stages of the decontamination system very much smelt like decontamination. I don't even know how to describe those soaps, but this smells like quite a manly cologne. Thinking, if anyone's familiar with like Chanel Blue, not quite that potent, but it smells like a boy's locker room. Like, that is a good smelling soap. Wish we had more of that. So we're going to foam the car down. We've got it set up, all diluted in our foam cannon here. We've got our bucket set up behind us as well. And basically we'll just get into a full contact wash. Part of this process as well, once I do my first contact wash, I'm going to come behind with the rag company with their clay mitt. And there's not too much decontamination that I can feel on the surface here, but just want to make sure we've removed everything. Obviously the first two stages of our pH system will have done a pretty good job at removing mineral deposits, water spotting, dirt, inorganic, organic, but we still do need to have that element of mechanical decontamination here as well as part of the process. It's actually relatively slick, this soap too, which is quite a surprise given that the system we've just applied will have stripped off a lot, if not all, of the protection that we had on the vehicle. So we're just going around and rinse the whole car off, and probably the best way to show you, I guess, the result of using this 3pH system is just the water behaviour now. Alright, we have a lot of sitting water on the car. It has stripped everything off the glass as well. You can see all the sitting water on the side windows here. Like, it has done a great job at removing the spray sealants, all of the remnants of bead maker, amplify, the detail coat ceramic spray. We've had pan ceramic spray on here as well. The product has done a really good job at stripping everything off the surface. I mean, look at the standing water on the back here now. Like, that water characteristic that we had pre-wash has completely gone now. So we've just finished up doing that pH neutral contact wash on the car, And what I am actually really impressed about with the system is probably stretched me to go a little bit further than I normally would in a decontamination wash. So typically we're using CarPro Descale, so the low pH acidic shampoo, and we definitely wouldn't be getting, as a result, I guess, as thorough as this. Like, really hard for me to comment on the quality of the finish without getting really detailed befores, afters, what we've got left behind on the surface here. Now, what I was actually really impressed with when we got to the final rinse down and the drying of the car is that seems kind of counterintuitive to what I would have originally thought. The car was really easy to dry. Now, I would put that down to the fact that the system has done a really good job at removing any of the minerals on the surface that previously would have held onto that water and made it hard to remove it from the surface. I actually found I could dry the vehicle most of the way using the leaf blower. I did have to get the towel out to do some superficial drying at the end, but I think it's done a really good job at removing some of the mineral content. There definitely was a little bit of water spotting on the windows that I think it's done a good job at removing. And I mean, now feeling the surface feels bare, so it doesn't feel slick at all, but it definitely doesn't feel like there's no contamination that I can feel on there. And yep, I did go around and do a clay bar treatment using the Rag Company synthetic clay, but prior to doing that, I ran my hand around the car and I think the contamination on there had significantly reduced. So I want to give a shout out to Andrew over at Autobuff. We actually did an order through Autobuff in Australia to get our hands on some of the new built hamper products, and unbeknown to us, we had this 3pH system thrown in the box. So big shout out to Andrew, thank you very much. And shout out to Autobuff, a great retailer in Australia where you can find Labocosmetica. We bought our built hamper from there, and we actually are going to be placing an order shortly for some armour detail through them. They seem to stock pretty much everything that we like to use. So that's a wrap on the Labocosmetica 3pH system. I think this is something that we are going to want to continue playing with, and I think our decontamination system has changed. I think that now, after encountering this system, we're probably going to be open to doing a little bit more, putting more time into this process, and the Labocosmetica system could be the one that makes the cut. But as always, we've got plenty more to test out there. So if you have any recommendations for any other decontamination products that we should check out, drop them in the comments below. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.